we are live. Hey
Hi,
guys,
everyone. Hey.
welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Corner with Sarah and myself. Today we're
Hi,
going to be
guys.
talking about money, right? And the relationship with money. And before we even start the conversation, I would love to share something with you guys about money. And it's a book that I've been reading called Rich as Fuck by Amanda Frances. And
Love it.
just to share a little bit more about how money and abundance starts with us, right? That's like connecting it back to self. So it says, as you've already gathered, this money thing isn't really dependent on hard work, following formulas, restricting your desires, and playing it safe. Mastering money is about choosing your thoughts and feelings about money intentionally. The thoughts you think on repeat become your beliefs. The beliefs you hold determine your energetic expectations. Your energetic expectations determine how the world works with and responds to you. How the world works with and responds to you creates a dynamic and paradigms by which you live. It often feels like fate, luck, good fortune, etc., but it all started and ended with you. So I feel like that was so good for like what we're about to talk about right now.
Absolutely. I love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, today we were going to discuss money, but also prosperity. And like we were kind of chatting yesterday about it, is a lot of times people get confused between the difference between prosperity and money. They actually think it's really the same thing, which prosperity is having money. That's always a great thing, right? I mean, it feels like it's a gift and you're like, yay, I got money, and prosperity and all things are great. But are they really, right? So kind of going through some of that too, and some people that I know, and it's when you don't have all things aligned in yourself, such as your family life is kind of on point, your health, your just the way that you feel in all different aspects, and you feel very balanced and well-rounded, but you have money, then you don't have full prosperity. Prosperity is all things in balance, all things that align you to have the most balanced and centered feeling. So if you're working your ass off at work and you're not giving time for yourself, for your family, or things that are important to you, and you're just working, but you're making that paycheck and you're getting the money, but to what expense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's so funny that you're saying that because I remember hearing like early in my
I lost you, Nereyda.
I keep getting phone calls.
Oh, don't call her right now.
Oh wait, I can't hear you.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel popular for the
You
last like
are.
5 minutes of my life. I was gonna say, it's funny that you know like you're saying that because I remember in my early 20s hearing or kind of getting in touch with like the spirituality part and like more about how education isn't everything or money isn't everything. And I remember thinking like, okay, I'm hearing these stories how people reach these type of successes and at the end they still feel empty, or they're reaching all this type of money and at the end they still feel empty.
Yeah.
And I remember making like the conscious choice of, okay, it's not going to be about money. Like I want to pursue experiences. I want to pursue like self-growth and healing. And it felt very unknown because it's like I don't know anybody else in my life who's in that path. So am I going to be okay at the end of the day? Right. And it's crazy because like I'm entering my 30s and now I have people personal in my life who I hear stories where they've reached this type of success and yet they're unhappy or they're unfulfilled. And it makes me feel so proud of myself of like, oh, I'm so happy that I went through something that was very unknown to me. And I'm still very stuck to my own gut choice. So it's interesting because it's true, right? Like I just saw a video by Will Smith, and this guy was asking him like, how much do you make? Like it says on Google that you make X amount of $1 million. And Will Smith is like, well, I don't like to talk about that stuff. But
Yeah.
he was like, but I do wish that everybody could get a chance to buy everything that they want, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through a lot of mind shifts as well because as growing up, I always thought that, you have to make a certain amount of money a year to be considered successful or you're not, you didn't make it in the world or whatever. And I've shifted my mindset significantly. I don't feel that way at all because I feel like the most richest person in the world for myself
Mhm.
and for my family because I can be
Yeah.
there for my family and I have that time to do that. Now, not everybody has that opportunity. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like breadwinners and they have to really hustle and do what they have to do, but that doesn't mean that you can't make sure. I mean, you can fit 15, 20 minutes of your day to do something for you, whether that's just watching a show, meditating, maybe exercising in your living room or, playing with your kids or whatever it may be
Yeah.
and focus on something that's super important that will give you a little bit more fulfillment in a different aspect than just money, right?
Yeah.
So, one more thing I wanted to mention too is I think it was last week, my stepdaughter, I don't call her my stepdaughter, my daughters,
Yeah.
they came up to me. I got one biological daughter and I got two stepkids. So I've got three kids. But one of my stepgirls, she came up to me and she goes, Mommy Sarah, are we rich? She's 8.
Mm.
And
Aw.
I go, yes, we are. We are very rich. I said, all you girls and all of us, we're healthy. We're
Oh.
all happy. We have a roof over our heads. We have food on our tables.
Yeah.
You know, I listed off all the things that we have, and I said, "So you girls are very rich, indeed."
Oh.
I
That's so
wanted to put it
sweet.
in a perspective for her so she realizes it's not about the tangible money. It's
Yeah.
not about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a huge relationship.
You're teaching them very young too, like what abundance or prosperity is,
Yes,
right? Because a lot of us, I
absolutely.
think, as adults or when we're kind of in our 20s, 30s, whatever, it's like we only think success or prosperity is one thing, and it's
Oh,
not.
can I buy that
Last night,
thing?
yeah,
Or
like last night, my partner and I, we were like, oh, like what's one thing that you're grateful for? And one of the things that I said was, oh, like I'm so grateful of the simplicity of being able to go to Sprouts and get like a green juice, like
yeah.
able to like put gas in my car, just like the
Uh-huh.
little things, right? Where in the moment, because I've had those spaces where in the moment I'm like, oh my God, I feel very like I'm not making enough, or like that whole story of lack. And then when I'm showering, it's so funny because I remember sometimes like my travels where I've gone to places and there's no hot water, right? So in my shower, for some reason, I'm always like, oh my God, I'm so abundant. Like I have hot water. And then I
Yeah.
start thinking about my day, right? Where it's like, oh, and I have a car and like the little things, right? And then I'm back to like that space of abundance and gratitude. And
Right. And
yeah,
when you think that way, you start to recognize way more things that you do have that's very abundant. And you start noticing all the little things that are in abundance, right? Like, I mean, I love the fact that I come home and I'm at home and I get to just throw my pajamas on and cuddle up in my blanket and just be comfy,
yeah,
cozy, and warm. And it's just God, I sit in my room. We're in the living room. And I'm just like, ah, I'm just
uh,
so lucky. I just
that's
love
so
it. Yeah,
sweet.
I
Yeah.
love my house. I love my kids. I love the little things that I have. I love that we have our little banters and our fun and
Mhm.
all that just it fulfills me because I have so much.
Yeah.
And we can provide for our family and our kids, but it doesn't need to be in like an excess where it's unnecessary and then we're just trying to fulfill like an it's never gonna our cup will never be full in that
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Right? If we're always just thinking about it, success is money, we're never gonna have a full cup ever.
Yeah, because it's still like lack, right? Like it's still
Yeah.
very lack mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is. And, so I'm kind of like not kind of, I hate that word. I am into feng shui. I don't like using
So,
little naysay words. I am into feng shui. I love feng shui. I love clear energy, right?
uh-huh.
So, my house, I've created it to have a really nice flow. So there's not a lot of clutter. I'm very minimal. I don't like a lot of things, but I like walking into my home and things just kind of like feels open, right? And
Okay.
so I do many spring cleans throughout the year. And so we decided to do a spring clean. I decided to do a spring clean in our filing cabinet because we have a filing cabinet, and mine was on my end was pretty good. My husband's though, his was just like throwing papers, and I've been meaning to like, you need to clear this out, and I'm trying to get him to understand that this actually has a lot of significance in energy flow. Even though it's in a drawer, it's
Yeah.
space that could be used more efficiently, right?
Yeah.
We could clear it out, and we can actually have more room to put things that we do need it for, right?
Mhm.
So I cleared out my part of it. He cleared out his part of it, which led him to clear out a lot of other things on
That's
his part
awesome.
in the room. And it was like a couple days later, a lot of flow started happening for him
Nice.
specifically, for him progressing forward in certain aspects and certain
Yeah.
things, like with his band, and just a bunch of different things were kind of like on the up and up, and things were looking really positive. I'm just choking on my spit. We're looking very positive and like like things were looking really positive. And it was like, I told him, I said, there is no such things as coincidences. The fact that
Yeah.
you and we feng shuied our freaking filing cabinet, which led you to clean out your closet, which led you to clear out all of the space on top of your amps that are in the room.
Yeah.
Now,
That was really good. Just gotta
what? Oh, was it my spit or what? um, so it was like a day or two later, things were just flowing up. And I'm like, OMG,
Yeah.
like this right here, this is exactly what I feel like we should be talking about is energy and fluidity and
So
flow and
I have a
clear.
question for you, right? For those people who've never heard of feng shui, like what is it? Because I
Fun.
also totally believe in it. I didn't even know there was like a word to it until recently.
Mhm.
But there's been times where like I feel like it's time for me to let go of clothes because there's energy.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yes.
dumps of clothes. Like same with certain debt. It's like I've heard that like when you have one time I heard it once where it's like, oh, if you have debt and it's like 10 years ago, it's like that energy is still carrying into your present. So I've tried my best to clear out that debt, right? But
Mhm.
it's not until maybe I met like Lucinda and like I met Daryl where it's like, okay, like it's a thing, like it's energy, it's even like the doors and Daryl likes like the bed like a certain way, like the mirrors and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I'm open to
That
it.
is advanced
So let me
for me.
well, that's awesome. Well, if people are watching and they have no idea what you're talking about, like what is feng shui?
So I'm going to tell you right now because I want to give everybody a really, I know what it is, but sometimes if
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
better definition, the meaning of feng shui, um, okay, that's confusing. Um,
Mhm.
So, okay. So really it's influencing energy is what you're doing. So everything is energy, everything around you is energy. We are all energy, everything has energy, right? And like exactly what you were saying, like trying to clear out clutter. Everyone knows what spring cleaning is, right? And then what it happens after you spring clean. How do you feel, right? You feel
I'm
you feel good,
so refreshed.
very
Yeah.
refreshed. You feel like, okay, now I have room for something else to put in its place that I'm actually going to use, right? That's an energy. So that's a positive energy. That's an energy with a lot of flow and a lot of fluidity, right? It's a feeling that you get as well. So when I don't know. I looked on my Google thing. It was very cluttery. The way that it was explaining it. So I'll just tell you in Sarah's words. So like
Yeah.
when you walk into a home and you feel it a certain way in your home, that is energy. That's like a feng shui feel. So if you have like clutter, you remove it. Now you feel like the energy can flow more smoothly and you just walk in feeling like you just spring cleaned. That feeling, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some people do like the bed has to be facing a certain way and then this with that and this, and that's totally like a little bit above my pay grade. Like I don't really do that yet because I'm not sure, but I do it more with the feeling that I get when I'm in my space. So in
Okay.
my salon, how do I feel? How would I feel if I was a client walking in? Do I feel like it's overpowered and it's too much and people can't really walk through, or it just has
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason, right? Like, how do people feel when they walk in here? That's feng shui to me.
Okay. So another
So,
question, right? Because I know the topic today is about money.
yeah.
How does feng shui and money, like, how do you think they correlate?
Okay, so when you're feeling like you have a lot of clutter in your life, okay, so like my husband and me and us clearing our bedroom and spring cleaning it and feng shuiing it and making the energy flow, when you have that flow going through, like you feel like it's just more consistent and it's flowing well. There's no stagnance. There's no, like, the energy's flowing and it's not being pushed out into different directions and it's like stopping, right? That's a like symbolism of things in your life. So when you have more flow in your space, then money, tangible money, prosperity, and other ways are going to be able to flow with more fluidity. You're not going to have stuck, stagnant energy causing that, because the energy is trying to come in. The flow is trying to come in, but it's being stopped by clutter. So it's clearing your space. A clean space is a clean mind, right? So when you're feeling clear, when you walk in and you have a clear space, your mind is clear. You think with more clarity, right? You think clearly, clearer. You think more clear. You make clearer decisions. You make more, your focus is better. So your decision makings are better. So all of that flows. It's one big flow. So then you start noticing that, oh, dang, like, I just spring cleaned. I'm feeling really good. And then something positive happens. You acknowledge it and you're like, hell yeah. Thanks to the feng shui, like, things are flowing and you're going to be bringing in more of that positive energy and you're going to be receiving it with more ease.
So a lot of it too, it is like, again, like, we always go back to the space of like being aware, right? Like in our lives where we feel that stuckness or where we feel that clutter or where we just feel those kind of tense feelings in our lives, right? Like focus our awareness on that and then work through it to unclear it.
Yeah.
Right? So more flow could come through.
Yeah. And it's hard. Sometimes people aren't able to fully grasp it. Like, they're just like, well, but I don't really have the energy to do that. Or I'm not sure. I don't really feel, some people don't really feel so like pushed and driven to do certain things. And that's okay. I like to say positive affirmations for myself because that really definitely helps shift my mindset to get into the drive of clearing my space.
So even as you're saying that, right? Like, I would even want to challenge very lovingly the people who are like, I don't have time, or I don't know about that. Kind of like to reflect on like, okay, like, what is it about this energy that makes me comfortable? Or like, what is it about this energy that makes it feel like safe? Because it reminds me sometimes of people who are so comfortable in being uncomfortable, and it becomes kind of like a safety net.
Yes.
Because it feels like when you clear out all this stuff, it's like, it's so true. You do make space for more to come. But it's like, that's even uncomfortable for some people too, for that prosperity, for that abundance.
Because they're like, I don't know what to do with it if I have it.
Well, funny because the book that I'm reading, I love the book. So it talks about that, how some people like the reason why they lack money is because a lot of them have like this subconscious fear of like, well, what do I do when I have a lot of money? Like, they wouldn't know how to handle it. And there's that fear. Like, we think that fear could be like, oh, there's this fear of, like, it's going to go away one day, or it's going to be too good to be true. But it's like, actually, even the good, abundant prosperity feelings could be fearful to some people.
Mm-hmm.
Like that question, like, oh, what if I succeed? Like, that's scary to some people.
Right. Yeah. But what if you do and it's the best thing in the world? And what if you don't ever try and you never know and you always wonder, right? So
my thing's always like, oh, that thing that you desire so much, whether like that's peace or their prosperity or the abundance, it's always through and on the other side of what you don't are resistant to go through, or like scared to go through.
Yeah. But that's part of the journey of life. And that's what makes life exciting. It's not staying in the stagnance of the everyday. It's pushing yourself to go just, even if it's like a half an inch closer to the other side of the
Yeah.
spiral of the stagnance, right? Even if you take one little tiny step, like it could be something very tangible. Like, I'm going to clear my little table right there that I haven't touched in like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like such a small little thing, and you don't do anything for another 2 more months, but that's one little step towards a little bit more clear energy, right? And you just see where that takes you, and that could lead you to clearing out your entire house.
Yes. But then, it comes back. Because when you come back, like, you do feel so much better. Like, you feel more motivated. And it's actually crazy because I've heard studies where it's like, oh, when you do one little thing, like make your bed, in your brain takes it as like an achievement. Right?
Yes.
Like the reward kind of dopamine that hits your brain where it's like, okay, cool, like I did that. Like, that's awesome.
I mean,
so it starts off with like cleaning your desk, your whole house, and at the end you're there. You may be tired, but it feels so accomplishing.
That's something that I do every day. I make my bed every single morning, and my husband sometimes says like, we're going to sleep in it later. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know and somebody could, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I've heard that this was a thing in like the Army, Navy, or I don't know, something like that, where like that's a big deal. Like they make them make their bed every morning, because if they don't do, well, they make them do a lot of things in the military, but if you don't do anything at all day long, at least you succeeded in one thing. Make your bed, people.
There's this one guy, he did like, I forgot his name, but he was part of the Marines, but he did this like that graduation kind of ceremony talk.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be motivating, right? And he starts off with, you guys are graduating, make your bed every morning. And he goes on to like a whole speech about that.
It's
like
huge.
That's the success. That's where like everything starts, is making your bed in the morning.
Make your bed. I tell my girls that every morning. I say, girls, make your bed, brush your teeth, like all the basic things that you think, whatever. Sometimes they lack on it. And I'm like, nope, you're coming right back. You're doing it, because if you don't do anything else, at least you made your bed. And it's a feng shui thing. I'm teaching them about feng shui. So it's like, you want your energy in your room to flow freely. Otherwise, you're going to walk in, you're going to feel, like you don't really feel that good. So
I see comments. I want to like acknowledge it. So I want to, let's see. So Allison's on here. Hey, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
I think yeah. So it says declutter equals makes you feel better.
Exactly.
Yeah. She also mentioned decluttering calms your feelings and moves
energy around. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. That's a feng shui. And that's again, like you can do a feng shui to like the nth degree, and it's very specific with different colors in certain places, certain colors in certain places of the house, or the way things are positioned. I will learn all that at some point. I'm not there yet, but right now I'm into exactly what Allison said. Decluttering calms your feelings and moves energy around, because a clean space equals a clean mind. That's where I am at, and it works, and I've experienced it. And now, prosperity, the feelings that we're getting when that is happening, that's prosperity. It's not just money prosperity. It's the feelings that you have inside that's going to radiate outwardly. And then you're going to start noticing so much more coming in for you, because positive attracts positive, right?
Yeah.
So that's the prosperity and the relationship with money, the disconnect between, like, don't connect money and prosperity. They're not, they're kind of the same thing, but they're kind of not, right?
They could be like interconnected.
Yes.
One of the things that I want to add too, or like share a story about, is like recently I had this client, and she's been, it's so funny, right? Because whenever I get clients, it feels like sometimes it's like a mirror. It's like, what the heck? Like, you're working on that, I'm working on that too, and I have to guide you through it. Not have to, but guiding you through it. Like, okay. And she recently wanted to go shopping, and she was like, she's like, I got rid of a lot of clothes. She was like, I really feel like they brought up so many memories when I was not in a good space. And I'm like, you're very aware, like, good job, right? And she was like, I want to shop for clothes that are colorful and vibrant and brings out this confidence in me that was never there before. So we went shopping, and it was super awesome. But it's like, oh, like, even again, like the decluttering, the throwing stuff out, because even with clothes, right? Like there's a lot of kind of hesitation of, oh no, like these are clothes, like they're still good. But it's like, no, like even that is a lack mindset of, I don't want to throw these clothes out because they're good or whatever. It's like, donate them. Right? But the moment that you kind of get rid of them and make space for that new to come, it's like the energy comes through too. Right? Like the energy of who she wants to come or becoming is like coming through with like the clothes that she's buying.
Absolutely.
Which again resonates because before we got on, I was like, oh, my hair and like, you know, who I want to become.
Yeah.
This relationship with yourself.
Fabulous. I love it.
Thank you.
New you, new start, new chapter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny that we're talking about this right now because right before we started, I pulled a card, a tarot card, and specifically about like our talk, and we weren't really getting into feng shui or anything, but I pulled the death card.
Ooh, the death of like old.
And we were just literally talking about this, and I'm like, oh my God, we're talking about getting out with the old and in with the new, decluttering, getting rid of things.
Yes.
So the death card, you guys, is not a negative card. I absolutely love the death card because the death card is saying that with when something's going on in your life, something that maybe is making you feel a certain way and it's not really the best, it's going to be gone and you're going to start fresh and new. So I think this is a good time. I mean, spring is here. Start thinking about spring cleaning, getting rid of things, shifting that energy flow, getting that feng shui going. So you're feeling like you can bring in more prosperity and positivity in your life. The death card, let's get all that stagnance out. Let's remove all that stagnance. And if you're unable, like I was going to say, like if you're unable to, like, where do I start, right? I love affirmations, positive affirmations, and you can create any one that you want. So if you feel like maybe I'm not fully like, oh, I don't really feel like I'm that blessed or prosperous or whatever, sometimes we have those feelings certain days. I would always start my day with a positive affirmation. And if it's about prosperity, I would say, I want to thank the universe for making me prosperous because I'm already prosperous in my daily life every day. Thank you. And if you say something to that fact or something, anything that you want to kind of shift around and shift your mindset, you want to tell yourself, I already am. I want to thank the universe for making me prosperous, or I am already prosperous. Thank you. I am so blessed. I have so many wonderful things. Thank you. And when you constantly reiterate the same positivity, then you're going to start shifting your mind. And it's true. I mean, it's a true statement. You're going to really, truly believe it inside of you. Like you're going to start going, you know what? You know what? Yes, I am going to declutter. I am going to shift. I am going to say more positive things about myself. Yeah. And then that right there is going to make you more of an abundant and a prosperous person. And it's an entirety, right? You'll be more fulfilled in all aspects and you're going to feel more alignment within yourself.
Yeah.
So, yes.
That is like a beautiful way to end this show. I love it. I totally love it. Thank you for sharing affirmations. And if you're watching and you want to go through that again, like go back a few minutes, like close your eyes and just listen to Sarah.
Yeah.
Yes, and repeat them to yourself.
I love affirmations. And create your own. I just pulled something out. You just create your own. Just say it over and over.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So we are just about at the end of our show, and we hope that everyone enjoyed. And if anybody has any questions or wants to comment, we'll be happy to answer any questions. Or if you want to make any other comments for yourself and want to throw something out there that maybe we forgot, totally, absolutely. Like, let's talk.
Yes.
So,
agree or disagree with any of this, let us know.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. And we hope you all have an amazing, prosperous, fabulous, amazing day.
We'll see you next time.